Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please. Oh, yes, like and subscribe. Yeah. People were asking, where's my hat? Well, here it is, folks. I'm wearing my hat. Yeah. I'm going to talk today about the problems in the staffing crisis, which is all over the papers today. Certainly a big feature in The Independent. And it seems that there is a real problem because there's been 4,575 complaints to the Ombudsman about the conditions, about the staff behaviour, and about the general malfunctioning of the prison service. And these are complaints from inmates. One of the big problems that they've got, and according to the Independent today, which you can look up online, is that 41% of the staff have less than 3 years service. Now, going back, I know we're going back in time to a different era, but when I was in there, staff had been there for like 15, 20, 25 years. It was, at that time, a career. And it gradually was disintegrating when I was there. I was attempting to tell the staff, as you've probably seen in the BBC documentary Strange Ways in the series 3 Screws, where I was telling the staff that this job is going down the drain rapidly and we're being reduced to being little more than turnkeys. Now, I made this point the other day, but it's quite obvious that there is a serious problem. They cannot recruit staff, obviously, if they are recruiting direct from Nigeria to come straight into the British prison service. Then what are they playing at? And they're not doing face-to-face interviews. They're not doing medical checks. When I was a hospital officer, one of my duties was to do the medical checks on new recruits. So that when you applied for the job, you went for a basic test, which was basically like an IQ test to make sure that you weren't completely numb. And if you passed that, which was the basic civil service entrance exam, by the way, if you passed that, then you were appointed a day to return to come back for a medical. And the medical consisted of various tests. You had to be a certain height, you had to be able to read, you had to have good eyesight, your blood pressure had to be stable, you had to check your urine, dip your urine for ketones to make sure that you weren't diabetic. Well, to measure the circumference of your chest and the ability of you to actually exhale and inhale, so that your chest had a certain measurement and that you were properly physically functioning. That was my task as the hospital officer. Following that, you would be seen by the doctor, who would give you a general once-over, make sure that you were who you said you were, and, in the form of gender, so that would be checked. And basically, that was a full medical. And you were seen then, once you'd passed the medical, you were taken before a board which consisted of 2 chief officers and a governor, and you were interviewed as to why you wanted to join the prison service, what experience you had in life that would fit you for the job. I clearly recall my interview. One of the questions they asked me was, how would I feel about dealing with a violent inmate? And my response was, well, I don't think I'd have too much problem, seeing I was the regimental and army middleweight boxing champion. I don't think there'd be a great deal of trouble there. Which they seemed to think was perfectly good, and of course it was. I never actually used my boxing skills in the jails. I didn't need to. Once or twice, you've got to do it, But basically, it was mainly being able to put inmates on the floor and hold them securely until they were either sedated or sufficient staff came along to whip them off either down the block or off to the hospital, where they were lobbed into a padded cell, forcibly disrobed, and subsequently injected with Largactil. It depends what the doctors ordered, of course, because this was specifically by the medical practitioners there, not a decision that was made by hospital officers. That is not correct. So what we've got today, as written up in the Guardian, in the Independent, saying that there was, in the last 12 months, in the entire prison service, over 10,000 assaults on staff, over 1,000 of which were considered to be extremely serious. And one of the problems is that less than 25% of the staff have got 10 years or more service in. As I said at the start of this little rant, when I joined, many of the staff have been in the job for 20, 25 years or more. In those days, you served 30 years, and that was your full term of employment. But staff often stayed on. I knew staff who were senior officers who, when they came to the end of their 30 years service, applied to be reinstated as basic grade prison officers, because you didn't hold the rank after the 30 years. And so they were reinstated as basic grade officers, and they stayed on. And therefore, the knowledge and the ability to deal with inmates was passed down. It became something of a problem when what was being passed down was violence. But according to the Independent today, over 10,000 assaults on staff. They can't deal with that. And the prison officers are just not staying in the job, many of whom resign before the end of their probationary period, which when I was there was 12 months. Not sure what it is today. But as I say, there's been 4,575 complaints to the Ombudsman. They're complaining about conditions, about being locked up in their cells for 23 hours a day. Well, if they haven't got any staff, they can't unlock them. And there is insufficient staff to supervise workshops, workplaces, and basically the whole system is in utter chaos. And according to Charlie Taylor, there are a number of prisons being placed on special needs. They obviously are in decline. And one of those prisons is HMP Manchester, which used to be Strangeways, and it's now it's in despair. So what are they going to do? They've got to think of ways to actually deal with this. The prisons are bursting at the seams. There's approximately 90,000 inmates in the prison system. When we go back to 1975-76, well, I agree, it's 50 years ago, the prison population was approximately 36,000. So it's nearly treble that. And they can't staff it. Can't staff it because the pay is poor. You're paid insufficient, so you can't actually subsist on the amount of money that you're being paid. The hours are weekends, bank holidays, Christmas, New Year. You're working in the jails. Times are a-changing, as Bob Dylan said. And it ain't working. So if it ain't working, you've got to fix it. But what are they going to do? We shall see. This is Tales from the Jails. Now, I'm going to have a live session on the first Tuesday in March. So I do hope you'll all join in on that. And please do like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Don't comment on my hat. It's not the greatest hat, but it's my hat. Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton, and that's the song dinger. You've been warned. Time to run for the hills. Or you're going to get it. Well, you're going to get it anyway, aren't you? Yeah, so I'm going to sing you a song now. I mentioned Bob Dylan earlier. This is a song by Bob Dylan. It ain't me, babe. And it really ain't me, babe. Are you sitting comfortably? You won't be in a minute. Go away from my window, leave at your own chosen speed. I'm not the one you want, babe. I'm not the one you need. You say you're looking for someone who's never weak but always strong, to protect you and defend you, whether you are right or wrong. Someone to open each and every door, but it ain't me, babe. No, it ain't me, babe. It ain't me you're looking for, babe. Go lightly from the ledge, babe. Go lightly on the ground. I'm not the one you want, babe. I'll only let you down. You say you're looking for someone who will promise never to part, someone to close his eyes for you, someone to close his heart, someone who will die for you and more. But it ain't me, babe. No, it ain't me, babe. Well, it ain't me you're looking for, babe. Go melt back in the night. Everything inside is made of stone. There's nothing in here moving. And anyway, I'm not alone. You say you're looking for someone who'll pick you up each time you fall, to gather flowers constantly, to come each time you call. A lover for your life and nothing more. But it ain't me, babe. No, it ain't me, babe. Well, it ain't me you're looking for, babe. I should imagine that people are looking for the exit now. I don't blame you. That was a bit ropey. Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton.